Man, it's the T-Train show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up? Hot Rod. What up? L-Train. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the Three the Hard Way. Three the Hard Way. Cleveland's finest, y'all. The biggest and the baddest.
Welcome to another edition of Three the Hard Way. Lots to talk about, but before we get into it, gotta introduce my guys, the influencer, the host of the new Locker Room Show. Great show, by the way, yesterday, Mr. Hot Rod. Mr. Hot Rod, what's going on, Hot Rod?
What's happening, Three the Hard Way Nation? What's going on, fellas? Y'all know who this is. It's your friendly neighborhood coach, and as I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And the captain of our ship. If you're out there slipping, you may be put on some APBs. We like to call him the Capt. Cap, what's up, man? What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? And what's going on, everyone out there, Three the Hard Way Nation? Let's get this ship underway. Let's go.
After much trolling, LeBron on Instagram showing himself driving through the city of Cleveland, talking about this is my city, him being on a boat with Draymond Green and the boys from Golden State, him being down in South Beach, all this stuff to give little hints and dribs and drabs about where he's going to end up. Where he didn't show anything was anything in Philadelphia or being even interested in that team. But that's where LeBron James is ending up. 2-year deal, $8 million, $4 million a year. That's great money to you and I, but
sure is.
in the NBA landscape of things, I mean, that's really nothing. So with all the trolling, sorry for the Cleveland Cavalier fans out there that were hoping and dreaming that LeBron comes back home. But in LeBron James fashion, he said again to the fans of Cleveland, Cleveland, this is for you. Fellas, what do you think about LeBron James's decision?
Wow. Okay, let me start off, and Hot Rod and I were just talking. Give it up for Mike Gansey, okay?
Yeah.
Give it up for Mike Gansey,
Yeah.
okay? The orchestrator of all of this, okay? The orchestrator of all of this. About 3 weeks ago, maybe even longer, on our show, when Jaylen Brown went to Philly, I said, hey, if LeBron wants to win, if he's going to come east, if he wants to win, that's the team that, he needs to go to. Yeah, I said that. But I didn't think it was going to happen. Now, fast forward to yesterday, I was about to go outside and cut grass, and it came across my phone that he's going to Philly. Initially, it was relief for me, okay? It was relief. I'm glad it wasn't Golden State, and I'm glad it wasn't Miami, okay? Because those are two teams that I got much respect for, but I despise, okay? I despise them sports-wise, those two teams. So Philly, I said, wow, man, with a healthy Embiid, they have a chance to win this thing, okay? That's, again, dealing with whether, Embiid stays healthy or not. So they definitely have a chance to battle New York. Now, the second thing that came to mind, I said, man, now what did we miss out on as Cavalier fans, Cavs fan, them, waiting on, LeBron to make this decision. And again, that's my concern and still is. Okay, we got to do something now. He knows where he's going to be. What does James Harden do now? Does he sign the deal? Who else is out there for us to get? I would love for us to go after Jonathan Kuminga, who they say that, there are talks for him. And then they also say there's some kid from Real Madrid, some Mario Corzam or something. I've never heard of that guy, but they say he's out there. And then, like I was just telling Hot Rod, the New Orleans Pelicans aren't doing anything. Hey, what about Trey Murphy and Herb Jones? Okay. 6'7", 6'8", great defensive players, especially Herb Jones. We could use them. That team isn't going anywhere. We got to do something. So again, my concern was, did we miss out, just kind of fooling around with LeBron? And then also too, this lets us know that the Cavaliers are all in with Evan Mobley, okay? They're all in because I'm sure, some teams, and I see how Rod shaking his head, but I'm sure some teams maybe wanted, him in exchange for LeBron or Jaylen Brown or whatever
Yep.
have you. We're all in with Evan Mobley now. So Mobley, hey, you got to step up, man, because as the way you're playing now, and you were pretty good in the playoffs this last go round, but we need we need better. We need more from you, because currently constructed right now, we ain't going to beat Philly. We're not going to beat New York. We're not going to beat Indiana. Again, like I say, Orlando getting rid of their coach, we can maybe beat them, but that's about it. And then
Toronto, you got to throw Toronto in there.
Even though things are quiet.
They're 6 in the East right now, if you want to call it.
But things are quiet on that front with that Kawhi deal. But it'll probably go through. It'll probably go through. It's just on hold right now as they're investigating. But bottom line, our Cavaliers team running it back the way we're constructed, we're just going to be disappointed. So right now, as constructed, I don't have much faith in them going forward. I don't. So again, unless in the next day or so, Kobe Altman can, get some guys, because we already lost Dean Wade. We lost a guy from, Sacramento. And then the other kid who's that Larry Nance Jr., he's not with us, so we got to fill in some pieces. We do. I like who we have, but they're going to need a little bit of help going forward. But I'm relieved. But okay, let's get back to the drawing board. And Cleveland, we got to get some additional pieces for this thing. Got to.
So let me first also acknowledge Mike Gansey for the job that he's done in making the Philadelphia 76ers relevant. He pulled off the heist of the century with Jaylen Brown, and then he pulled in, LeBron James. All right. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Mike Gansey and of course, Dean Wade. Shout out to Mike Gansey. Yeah. Okay. But now let me flip the script. LeBron James to me, and I said this in the locker room, the LeBron James to me is now a mercenary. He's a ring chaser. That's the way I look at it, because of the nonsense and the boo-boo that came out of his mouth when he talked about, I just want to be happy. It's not about the money, which I believe that, but I just want to be happy. Well, if you're happy in Philadelphia, where you could have, if you wanted to stay close to home, I wouldn't have liked it, but you went to Golden State. No, what he did was he's the master of media manipulation. That's what he's done. So as Capt said, driving around in Cleveland and then golfing in Florida, come on, all that is strategic, okay? All that is absolutely strategic. And a quick, coach's call out. Rich Paul, are you kidding me? Through all of this, you sat on the internet talking about, I have no idea,
Max Kellerman show.
Yeah, what LeBron's going to do. You're his flipping agent, and you one of his boys. You can't sit up there and make me believe that you did not know where he was going. I said before that when Jaylen Brown went to Philadelphia, LeBron had already made his decision. Okay, but he wanted to take people on this journey of relevancy.
Wild goose chase.
Right. So that's what he did. And he knew he was holding the league hostage because he needed to decide where to go. Okay. And by the way, you guys don't know that Bronny was traded to Philadelphia yesterday as well. So what? He is now, he was traded for a couple of picks to Los Angeles. So he is now in Philadelphia. So Bronny's with his dad. Okay. Now, let me break it down to a basketball sense. We have to admit that LeBron James is a savant when it comes to understanding the business and the game of basketball. And I said this and I'll say it again. LeBron James is not concerned about the Eastern Conference. He believes that he can get through the Eastern Conference lickety-split. It doesn't bug him. What he looked at was the future. If they went to the finals and they had to play Chet Holmgren in OKC, or they had to play that alien Wembanyama in San Antonio, his mindset was, I need a big that's going to compete with them. So that's where the biggest decision came in, and it was Joel Embiid. If Joel Embiid is healthy, he is a force. LeBron knew Jaylen Brown was there, so that means he can load manage the entire season because he's got him there. He has a competent point guard. That kid is a stud. So he looked at the overall team and he said, this is the best fit at 42 years old to play and possibly win another championship.
Yep.
I'm not angry at him about that. He's thinking from a basketball sense. And he's made so much money, $8 million is chump change for a first ballot, surefire Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
The question I have now is, what are the Cavaliers and Kobe Altman going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Cap, you said Jonathan Kuminga. I love that. I think Kobe is already on the phone with Kuminga. DeMar DeRozan was released from Sacramento. I think Kobe Altman's on the phone with him. But let me give this to you. Here's a possible trade, and Coach Young is just reporting this. This is not, out here right now. What you want to do to balance the shift of power that is taking place in the Eastern Conference, there is one individual that neutralizes LeBron James, and his name is Kevin Durant. If you could pull off bringing Kevin Durant
KD.
and Amir Thompson for, let's say, Dennis Schroeder, Jared Allen, and a couple of picks.
Yeah.
Houston will make that deal. Now you've brought in Kevin Durant.
Oh, man.
And you've brought in Thompson, who's a better shooter than his brother in Detroit.
Yeah.
You also, like I said, have DeMar DeRozan that's running around out here, who is still a certified bucket getter. So if Kobe Altman wants to shoot for the fences, then he needs to go after KD. Now, here's the only caveat and problem. KD is not a fan of James Harden.
Yeah.
He's not. They had that rough time in Brooklyn. James Harden quit on Brooklyn and left him and Kyrie by themselves. So I think KD would have an issue with that. However, money cures all woes.
Sure does.
All right. And Kevin Durant is on the twilight of his career. If you bring Kevin Durant, and I'm just shooting it in the wind. I'm not reporting it.
Yeah,
but if you bring a Kevin Durant to Cleveland, that neutralizes LeBron going to Philadelphia. Because right now, Philadelphia is top 3 right now.
They are.
As constructed. They're top 3. Because I'm not going to disrespect the New York Knicks. They are the NBA champions. So they are the ones that are coming back out. Okay? But right now, when you talk about the Cavs, the way they are constructed, they're 6th best at least. Okay? And that's because the other teams behind them are straight trash. Okay? Or else they could be 7th or 8th in the conference.
Yeah.
All right? Right now. So, but if you can't get KD, Kuminga is, to me, Kuminga is the target. Kuminga is definitely the target because you need an athletic wing who can hit an outside shot. Kuminga will still put you in the basket. He's very young, very energetic. I can see that happening. But if I want to neutralize the LeBron James factor, I'm going to get Kevin Durant.
KD. Wow. What you think of that, L Train? KD. Kevin
That would be
Durant
great.
From Seat Pleasant, Maryland. From Seat Pleasant.
That would be great. That's a name out there. When we were talking pre-show, getting prepared for the show, Hot Rod didn't let us know of the name that he was going to bring out there, but that would be a very intriguing name for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Sure would be.
Let me start with the Cleveland Cavaliers first before I get into this LeBron James stuff. Just, what I spoke upon last week, I said, if the Cleveland Cavaliers did not get LeBron James, there would be a lot of air that's let out of the balloon of enthusiasm for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this is what I was talking about last week. You're feeling that right now. Everybody put their eggs in the basket of LeBron James. When you look at all the percentages, FanDuel, all these guys that try to prognosticate where LeBron James was going, I think the majority of them had LeBron James going back to Cleveland. I mean, it was, you looked at various sites, it differed in different sites, but pretty much everybody had LeBron James going back to Cleveland. I think a lot of the Cleveland fan base were excited. The media were excited. Now that he's going to Philly, the air has been let out of the balloon. I love the word mercenary that Hot Rod brings in when it comes to LeBron James. And that is essentially what LeBron James is. But when you look at, I have a little bit of pushback, fellas, when it comes to, and I've heard this in various different places, where people say Philly is the best place for LeBron James to win a ring. And they don't fault him for picking Philadelphia to be able to do that. Is that really the truth, Philly? I mean, think about this. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm about to prove a point. In terms of winning a ring, he had an option to go to New York, fellas. I mean, 2 years, $8 million, he could have went to New York.
But I heard that was turned down. Did you all hear about that?
I heard about it. Rob Parker mentioned that.
Yeah, talked about it. Yeah,
on his show. So you know, 2 years, $8 million. He could have signed anywhere. He could have signed OKC. He could have went to the Spurs. But for some reason, why did he choose Philadelphia? Here's what I'm going to say. I think there are two reasons why. Number one, it is a pretty good place for him to go to win another ring. I think winning another ring, even though they tried to downplay it and say that LeBron James was not ring chasing, it's not about the ring. That's what Rich Paul said at the beginning of this whole thing. It is really important to LeBron James. It's important for him to get that next ring. No one's going to tell me any different. You can miss me with all the stuff about it's not important. LeBron James wants that next ring, but he wants it a certain way, fellas. He wants it a certain way. LeBron James is not going to go to another team that he has a chance to win a ring with where the brand is equal to him or bigger than him at this point in his career. He's not going to Golden State because Steph is there. He wasn't going to go to the Minnesota Timberwolves because Anthony Edwards is there. He's not going to go to South Beach because Giannis is there. So when you look at Philadelphia, even though they are a stacked team and they got Jaylen Brown, you can't really find a brand on that team that is bigger than LeBron James. So when you talk about perfect fit in terms of winning, and there's really nothing there to really circumvent his brand, perfect spot. And then my last thing is, don't think that what happened in New York didn't influence LeBron James's decision. Did you see the passion of that city, a city that hadn't won an NBA championship in, I believe, 53 years?
Right.
Like that was a passionate fan base, something that hadn't been done there in a long time. Anybody that's a sports fan looking at that, I mean, that was similar to Cleveland winning in 2016. I mean, those blue-collar type rough cities that are passionate about their sports groups. I mean, when you're an outsider and you're watching something like that from the outside, fellas, it is a fantastic thing to watch. You don't think that influenced LeBron James? Because now you can throw Philly in that boat. Philly has been a part of the process for so many years. They've come up short. Now, if LeBron James can win a ring there in a city that is starving for an NBA championship, in his mind, that really increases his legacy. And I think all of that stuff came into play in terms of him making his decision. Now, last but not least, I'm going to go back to Hot Rod's thing. I was really intrigued by the Kevin Durant name being brought up. My only question is Houston ready to move off that experience yet? I mean, they've only had a year with it with Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I would love to see. I'm like Capt. I would love to see that move happen. I just don't know if Houston's ready to move off of that yet.
Now, remember, L Train, there was some turmoil in that Houston locker room last season with Kevin Durant and his burner account and saying this and saying that. So it was a rough go for a little while. Then they went on a nice long losing streak. So things began to unravel a little bit. Houston probably isn't ready to move on, but, that may be even intriguing to, Kevin Durant. Hey, I'll, sign up for that. And like you say, I don't care for James Harden, but put enough money in my pocket, he'll start looking good then, he'll start looking good to me. And then it's getting back to that New York deal. It was reported on Craig Carton's radio show in New York. We don't know whether it was true or not, but he reported that the Knicks told him thanks, but no thanks,
I don't believe it.
Then,
I don't believe that. I don't see LeBron James in his representation contacting New York after they won a championship.
Yeah, it was reported, but we don't know how true it is.
Yeah,
we don't.
So let me say this, and y'all tell me if I am off base here. LeBron James, if you look at the totality of the moves that he's made, okay, maybe not the one from Cleveland to Miami, but since he has left Miami, I believe that LeBron James has been chasing ghosts. And here's why I say that. There was never going to be a time where he was going to be accepted in Los Angeles.
Nope.
Right.
Because that was Kobe Bean Bryant's
Kobe
town.
Bean. Yep.
Okay.
Still is.
When
Still is.
Kobe, rest his soul, was alive, Kobe knew no matter, he won a championship there. It wouldn't have mattered. Because when you look at the upper echelon of the Los Angeles Lakers, and in my order, and not necessarily in this order, you're looking at Jerry West, you're looking at Kareem, you're looking at Magic, you're looking at Shaq, and you're looking at Kobe. And then everybody else is falling into place. You know what I'm saying? And so he chased something in LA that he would never get. And that's the acceptance or being put in that status of a Kobe Bryant. Never. So then he's now in Philadelphia. Well, gentlemen, whose town is that? That's still Allen Iverson's town.
Allen Iverson.
Yep.
That's still, and if you don't say Allen Iverson, then you can say Charles Barkley. That's his
Dr.
town.
J.
If you don't want to say Barkley, then you better say Dr. J.
Dr. J, yep.
So he's chasing ghosts. There's nothing else for LeBron James to accomplish. It doesn't matter how many rings that he gets in the pantheon of the NBA history. He will always fall behind Michael and behind Kobe. There's nothing else that he can do. Yes, he surpassed Kareem, but it doesn't matter. In everybody's mindset, the majority of the NBA mindset, LeBron James is third. And no matter where he goes. So let's just say he does not win a championship in Philly. Because Rich Paul said it. Oh, well, this might not be his last contract. Don't nobody want no 45-year-old LeBron James. My nephew told me yesterday, he was like, well, Unc, he's going to end up finishing in Cleveland. I don't want him.
Yeah.
You made your decision. You went to Philadelphia. That's where you need to finish.
Live with it.
But what's going to happen with that Hot Rod and Cap. They're going to do that tribute like they always do in the NFL and the NBA.
Sign a one-day deal.
A one-day deal to retire as a Cleveland Cavalier. He'll give us that gift, for the Cleveland Cavaliers to allow him to retire.
He can have that.
He can have that.
But I'm like this, he brought us something in 2016 that'll never be taken away. I will never take that away from him, even though I said it on this show that he should not have just been the MVP. There should have been co-MVPs. I'm not going to go down that road again. Okay.
Kyrie.
But I'm also like Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? So, that one-day deal to retire as a Cavalier, fine. But I'm talking about, people were talking about when he's done with this 2-year deal in Philly, that he'll come and finish one more year in Cleveland. I'm like, I don't know.
No thanks.
Don't come back for that.
Yeah, no thanks.
You take your farewell tour and you go ahead about your business. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, LeBron James is entitled to make whatever decision that he made. Like I said, my only issue with it is why it took him so long to do it. And when he's talking about family, I get it, but it doesn't pan out the way that it happened. That it had nothing to do with family. If he was talking about his daughter Zuri, if he wanted to stay close to them, then he would have. But now he's far east as possible. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But like I said, now Philadelphia is Philadelphia to me was top 3 before he got there with the Jaylen Brown deal.
Yep.
Now putting him in there, they're definitely solidified in that top 3 tier.
Yeah.
Yep. Cleveland fans they need to put the LeBron thing away now. Like let's turn the page on it.
Turn the page.
I was listening to Rizzo's show yesterday. I love listening to Rizzo's show, and I can't remember, the name's escaping me now, but his co-host or his guy that takes over for him on Friday mentioned that if this thing goes south, and I laughed at this, if this thing goes south in Philadelphia the first half of the season, there is still a chance that now Philadelphia somehow, some way could trade LeBron back to Cleveland where Cleveland can, so LeBron can finish up his career in
Yeah.
Cleveland. Man, don't
No
nobody
thanks.
want that.
was
Let's,
that was Goldhammer.
Was that
yeah,
Aaron?
go, that's who it
That was
was.
Aaron?
Aaron Goldhammer.
Aaron Goldhammer.
Because that's when he didn't even have to
That was
tell
Aaron.
me it was Goldhammer. All he had to do was say that ridiculous take, and I would have told you that it was Aaron Goldhammer.
You matched it up with the person on.
Yeah, that's Aaron Goldhammer, because he has no idea and he's clueless when it comes to legitimate sports. He's clueless when it comes to Cleveland sports. Denver maybe, but Cleveland, no. So when you said I didn't even see the show, but that ridiculous take has Aaron Goldhammer written all over it.
Turn the page.
Turn the page,
fellas.
Mhm.
Well,
There you go.
LeBron James, congrats. I think the one thing that I've heard a couple of people say, Cap, you said it, Hot Rod, you've definitely said it, is that LeBron James has the right to choose and pick
Oh, yeah.
whatever team he wants to go to. He has earned that in his career. I just hope when it's all said and done that as great as LeBron James is, that he has no regrets. And here's what I'm going to say. When people look at the Philadelphia 76ers, the one thing that they bring up is that they have a great starting five. They got Wade coming off the bench, but they really don't have any bench right now.
Yep.
That is going to be
Yep.
a key going forward. But their starting five is paramount if healthy.
Healthy.
Joel Embiid, if healthy. Here's the
Yep.
biggest thing about LeBron James that nobody ever says. When LeBron James comes to your team, I think we are going to see during the offseason into the season the best version of Joel Embiid that we have ever seen.
Yep.
Like LeBron is going to go in and galvanize this team. There's going to be a level of excitement. There's going to be a level of enthusiasm. This team now knows that they have a chance. I'm not saying that they're going to win a championship, but now that they have a chance with Jaylen Brown and LeBron James, what do you think that does for that locker room? What do you think that does for that organization, fellas? It is going to be a different level of approach when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I am going to predict that Joel Embiid is going to play more games this year than he has played in the last 3 years for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I believe that his injuries are not really going to come into play this year. He may have some dings. Everybody has some dings, but I'm talking about significant injuries this year. That is what LeBron James brings to the table because it gives you a chance to win. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, because, last season, the only thing that kind of beat him up in the end was when he came down with that appendicitis. Remember, he had to have that surgery.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was good. He was good.
Yep.
But, when that appendicitis hit him, he, just wasn't himself and he wasn't enough. Fast forward right now, hey, he may be in tip-top shape. And now with LeBron being there, I'm sure LeBron's going to say, hey, man, try this, try that, do this, do that. Let's make this thing happen. And again, if Joel plays 50 plus or more games, they're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Trust me. If he can give them 50 or more and the rest of those guys, are, pretty healthy, hey, they're going to be the team to beat, So, but again, like I say, Joel Embiid had a hell of a season last year, down the stretch though. But when he, had to get that surgery for his appendix, that's what kind of took him out of there. So he should be good now. He should be good.
If Joel Embiid is healthy, and when I mean healthy, because at a point in time, Joel Embiid was about 290. Joel Embiid needs to be about 270. If he's at 270, Joel Embiid is considerably unguardable. Because he can hit the outside shot, he can post up. He's still a rim protector at times. So, and I'm just looking at in his history. If you pay attention to Joel Embiid, it has to be a level of interest. When Joel Embiid is disinterested, that's when you get that Joel Embiid that often hurt Joel Embiid. Is because that's why Tyrese Maxey called him out the year before. Because Tyrese Maxey knew he wasn't injured. He was disinterested. So now that you have LeBron James, now you'll have an interested Joel Embiid.
Sure enough.
And it'll fall in line with, if Embiid does not fall in line this year, Joel Embiid won't be there next year. Just trust and believe, because if LeBron James can't get the best out of you, nobody can.
That's right.
So I said the same thing if he went to Cleveland when it came to Evan Mobley. So I do see Joel Embiid playing more than 60 games this year. And being in that, here's may not be a hot take. Joel Embiid will be in the MVP conversation this year because of LeBron James. It's going to happen because he's going to play above and beyond because LeBron's going to force him to do that.
Gotcha. And remember, too, they don't have a slouch as a coach. Nick Nurse is a damn good coach, y'all. So, hey,
Yeah, he is.
Factor that in as well. Nick Nurse can coach. He can coach.
Yeah. Joel Embiid needs to call 3 the hard way. You got Cap. He's got his workout regimen in the morning, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. You got the road dog here with no fast food for 45 days.
45 days. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that.
Joel Embiid, call 3 the hard way, man. We'll hook you up.
That's right.
We will hook you up. Hey, time to transition. What's just around the corner, fellas, is NFL training camp, Cleveland Browns. A lot of it, my favorite time of the year. A lot of questions that we have with the Cleveland Browns are going to be answered over the next 3 weeks, month, what have you. Give me some of your thoughts about what's coming out of training camp, what you're looking forward to, what things are you interested in the most?
I'm going to start off with this, and I'm glad I got Hot Rod here, the coach, because he knows how, the offensive line, works. My concern is the offensive line, okay? That's where it has to start. We're talking about, who's going to be under center. Will it be Shador? Will it be Deshaun? Okay? And I get that. That is a focus. But what about our offensive line? And I'm glad I got Hot Rod here. The projected starting offensive line is supposed to be Spencer Fano at left tackle, Zion Johnson at left guard, Titus Howard at right tackle, but we're unsure about the center position, okay? And we got Jenkins and that kid Brailsford, who's going to be under center. But I think that's key right there with even more so than who's going to be the quarterback. I'm concerned about the offensive line because we knew going into the offseason that was our main focus, that and wide receiver. So my concern with training camp, being here right now is the offensive line, okay? Because, again, it doesn't matter who you have, under center and behind there as the QB. If our offensive line isn't, doing what they need to be doing, it won't matter. So that's my concern going forward, and that's what I want to focus on, the offensive line. And I know Hot Rod, can maybe add to that.
So when you talk about Jenkins and Brailsford, I believe that the Browns would really like Brailsford to step up and be that center. That way they can kick Jenkins to guard. I think he was an all-pro at guard.
Right.
And so, but he can't snap the ball. I think during training camp, they're going to put Jenkins at center, and then the other Jenkins, I think they'll put him as a guard, but they want, because it's 2 Jenkins there. The second one, I think they want him ending up being a swing guard or swing tackle because he can play either. But I think they want Brailsford to take the position. The only thing with Brailsford is that he's small in
Where did he play college?
Standard.
Where did he play college?
Brailsford, I think it was Alabama. I think he played at Bama. And so he's small. But I don't really get into the size thing because you look at, Hall of Famer for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Webster. He wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he was tough. And so, and then you also have Luke Whippler, who played center for the Browns the year before. So there are 3 guys that the Browns could use. I think ultimately they want Brailsford at center and they want to move Jenkins back to his natural position, which is guard. For me, in training camp, I'm really looking at the wide receiver position.
Okay.
I'm looking to see who's going to step up and who's, I know they're talking a lot about Denzel Boston. I know they're talking about KC Concepcion, but I'm looking at Jerry Jeudy. This is a make or break year for Jerry Jeudy. Okay, because there are some young studs that are behind him that are ready to take
Maybe that's the
control.
motivation his behind needs. Maybe that's what he needs.
Okay. Quarterback position is going to play itself out. Like I said, I think Shador will take control there, but I think Deshaun is fine. I think Deshaun is fine one way or another, whether he's a starter or a backup. I think he's fine with that. I think his thing is, and I've just seen film and things and listening to him. Right now, Deshaun Watson is trying to get everything back on track, but he's about team. He's realizing, and maybe it's because he got married and maybe because he's settled down, he's not trying to be a distraction. That's one thing he's not trying to be. And I think, and even listening to Shador when he went to his camp, it seems as if him and Deshaun are fine. They sit down and they talk, and they're talking about
they
football.
Work out together.
Right. So to me, I'm just like, may the best man win. Okay. I know the Browns fans, if Deshaun is behind center, they won't like it. But as Cap has always said, I want the best quarterback behind center. I will say this, though. If you're doing a youth movement, which Andrew Berry seems to be doing, I would push Shador Sanders at quarterback if you're going with this full-blown youth movement. So, training camp, offensive line is very key because if the offensive line is trash, we're not going to get anywhere. But I think we're very, very solid at all positions, okay? At all positions, even special teams, because our special teams was terrible last year.
Right.
So I think, by Concepcion being a return guy now you got a legitimate threat back there. And here's the key, guys. When you see all the draft picks and you see the Browns players, they want to be there. They want to be there. That's why I said this Myles Garrett trade was addition by subtraction.
I agree with you there.
Okay? Because although Myles Garrett is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, I said and I screamed up and down the 3 and a Hard Way airways, he is not a leader.
Right.
And so Los Angeles will see it. And I'm not wishing any ill will to Myles Garrett, but I'll take Jared Verse. And I say this right now, Jared Verse will have double-digit sacks this year. He will. Okay. So I'm excited about training camp because all the sports media there in Cleveland can shut up. Okay, because now it's time to show and prove.
Yeah, and Hot Rod, can you speak to Malik Collins and him coming off that quad? How important is he going forward on that defensive side? How important is he?
Well, Malik Collins had 6 sacks before he got hurt.
Okay,
and 6 sacks at the defensive tackle position is tough. That's why Aaron Donald is possibly coming back, because Aaron Donald understands that when Myles Garrett takes up double teams, he knows that he can't be single covered. And that was the thing with Malik Collins. Malik Collins cannot be single covered. If you double team Malik Collins, then Mason Graham is going to get off. Okay. So Malik Collins is key. Plus he is a veteran on that defensive line. And that's what the defensive line needs, is they need a veteran. And so I'm looking forward to it. I think there will be some decline when it comes to the defense because it's not Jim Schwartz. However, there's still going to be a top 10 defense. And if the Browns offense can be somewhere within that top 15, there's going to be a problem in Cleveland.
Great takes, fellas. Obviously, the offensive line is really important. A couple of storylines that I'm looking forward to, is the obvious one, the quarterback battle. And I'm looking forward to who gets the first snaps right away in training camp. As we've seen through this whole LeBron James stuff, you can talk what you want to talk, but your actions show what you're really thinking. And so once training camp opens up, I want to see who gets the first snaps, whether it's Deshaun, because right now everything is equal. That's the way the Cleveland Browns are kind of spinning it. So I want to see if it's Deshaun, and I want to see if it is Shador that gets the first snaps with this team. Now, the other part of it that's big for me is the one thing that we have hung our hats on when it comes to these Cleveland Browns for the past couple of years is their Super Bowl caliber defense. And Hot Rod just kind of stole some of my thunder, but I love the way that he put it in terms of this defense, with Schwartz not being there and Myles Garrett not being there, obviously there's going to be, I think it's safe to say, a little bit of a fall off, but how much of a fall off is it going to be? If they're top 10, like you said, Hot Rod, I think the Cleveland Browns are going to be trouble. Is it going to be worse than that? That's something that remains to be seen. I don't see that from the Cleveland Browns. I think this is going to be a very good Cleveland Browns defense. So I don't think that, I don't see them falling off that big. But if they are in the top 10 with their defense, and I can see that being the case, I think the Cleveland Browns, like you said, are going to be trouble. When I look at this season, this is a no pressure season for the Cleveland Browns. It's almost relaxing. And I've said this all along. I got a feeling that the Cleveland Browns are going to do way more than people think they're going to do, because I think a lot of the pressure is off, man. I think a lot of the pressure is off. I think they're finally going to get good coaching, fellas. That is a big element in this. They don't have that Stefanski crap going on with all the unprofessional Stefanski crap going on in training camp and practices.
That's true.
That's true. No matter what you think about Todd Monken, you've got a football coach in there.
That's it.
And
you got an adult in the room.
You got an adult in the room, man. You don't have this Stefanski crap going on this year, man. I'm so relieved about that. The Atlanta Falcons are going to find out. The Atlanta Falcons are going to find out. But that's here nor there, man. I look for a really, really good season from these Cleveland Browns, man. I'm excited.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it
on.
Well,
with all this excitement, LeBron, Cleveland Browns, training camp opening up, man, there's always people out there that we have to take account for that come up missing.
That's right.
And we have the Caps.
APBs. APBs. Yeah.
Cap, what's going on with your APB?
Yeah, if you're not showing up, getting it done, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to look for you. I'm putting out an APB. Let me start with those Miami Marlins.
Ooh.
They are on a 10-game losing streak. Now, they were hot a couple weeks before the All-Star break, and then they went into a series against our Cleveland Guardians, and they got swept. And ever since then, they just haven't been able to get the train back on the track. So the Miami Marlins, who have won 2 World Series in their, lifespan, they're struggling right now. So I'm putting out an APB on that terrible team down there in South Beach. Next, sticking with baseball. Manny Machado, who, when he was with the Orioles, you talk about, I said he was the best third baseman in baseball. Right now, he is struggling, man. He's batting a measly 208. Manny Machado, they're paying you a boatload of money out there in San Diego, okay? You need to do better. Now, he got a couple of hits last night as they beat the Marlins, who everybody can beat the Marlins. But Manny Machado, need more out of him. 208 ain't gonna cut it, man. They ain't gonna cut it. Let me move on. Kyle Riley last year was almost an MVP, one of the best catchers in baseball. I don't know what has happened to him, man. I don't know what's going on. He's batting a measly 165. Me, the three of us, we can do much better than that, Kyle Riley. So you are struggling. So where are you? I'm putting an APB out on his terrible behind up here in Seattle. Kyle Riley. And now shifting back to the WNBA, which is the WNBA, which is going to be part of my party shots. I love the WNBA, man. I love them. I find myself watching them every night. But they got some teams that are struggling. The Seattle Storm, they're 6-23. They're struggling. The Connecticut Sun, they're 7-20. I say they need to, go down the highway there and get some of them players from UConn to help them out. Go see if Gino can give you some players there to help you out. And then the Chicago Sky, who I saw them battle the other night against Atlanta, but, they got beat. Jordan Canada made the game-winning layup. But the Chicago Sky, they're 9-18. I think they really miss Angel Reese, Yeah, she was a handful, but I bet you could use her now. So those 3 teams, the Storm, the Sun, and the Connecticut Sky, put an APB out on them too, because they're terrible. They're stinking up the joint. And let me see. Yeah, that's all I have. Those are the few APBs I got, right now with the WNBA and baseball being at the forefront. So if you see them, don't approach them. They're dangerous, and they probably got an attitude too. So be real careful with them. Be real careful. So those are my APBs for the day. Those are
Cap's
my APBs.
APBs. Call 1-800-THE-CAP.
Don't approach them, though. Don't approach them. They're dangerous.
They're dangerous. 1-800-THE-CAP for APBs. Hey, fellas, real quick, when it comes to WNBA, please forgive me because I don't have knowledge on this. Isn't Cleveland supposed to be getting a WNBA team?
They are. Not this upcoming season, but the following season. So I think in 2028.
Okay,
Yep,
and they're going back with the Rockers name, right? The Cleveland
Are they?
Rockers.
Okay, I haven't heard that,
I haven't confirmed that, but 9 times out of 10, they probably will.
Okay.
It's going back to the Rockers.
So look forward to that.
Listen, when I watched the Rockers play, it was Lynette Woodard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lynette
She
Woodard
the ball.
played
Yeah.
for
Great
the
name,
Rockers.
Hot
Oh,
Rod.
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
Lynette Woodard was an absolute monster. And the
Yes, she
reason I
was.
say she was a monster is because the great Cheryl Miller said that girl was hard to guard.
Yeah.
And so Lynette Woodard was a beast.
Yep.
Awesome name blast from the past. Great job on the APBs, Cap. All right, it's time for our start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. I believe it's me.
It's your turn, L Train. Your turn.
I believe it's me. In the spirit of LeBron James, we are going to go with mercenaries.
Wow.
So some of the best mercenaries in sport, ring chasers, whatever you want to call them. I got a list for you today.
Wow.
Okay. Best mercenaries in sports. We got to start with LeBron James. LeBron James tops the list. This is his 4th team, 3 rings with 3 other teams, trying to win one with Philadelphia. A team that had a ready-made roster for him to come in. I think you have to categorize that as being a mercenary.
Yeah.
Mercenary. Next one, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant going from Oklahoma City. They had the lead in the series before he goes to Golden State. Joins arguably the best team in NBA history in terms of regular season record. Already had a great foundation there. Steph, Draymond, Klay Thompson. Enters Kevin Durant, goes to Golden State, wins 2 rings there with Golden State. Mercenary. Okay. Max, here's a baseball one for you. Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
Won championships with different organizations. He's really respected for a lot of his competitiveness.
Oh, yeah.
But, he's been to a bunch of different organizations, won some rings. Max Scherzer is the name that we're going to put on the list. Okay? And then last but not least, we got to put on the list Shaquille O'Neal at the end of his career. Bouncing from team to team, trying to get that ring. I remember his whole theme when he came to Cleveland was win a ring for the king.
That's right. And then I remember they were in front of Sports Illustrated one time, witness protection.
That's
witness
right.
protection. Yep.
Yep. Now, some people thought I should put Tom Brady. I don't look at Tom Brady as a ring chaser. Tom Brady won a lot of rings, and New England just chose to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after he had won a plethora of rings. So I wasn't even going to put Tom Brady on this list. But I've got LeBron James, I got Max Scherzer, I got Kevin Durant, I got Shaquille O'Neal, fellas. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one.
You was trying to say something, Hot Rod? You trying to say something?
Yeah, let me put this out here because it's always going to be one of those people.
Yeah.
Robert Horry was not a mercenary.
No, he was not.
And the reason I explained Robert Horry not being a mercenary is because Robert Horry just chose where he was going. He didn't sit back and see if teams was loaded.
Right.
He just went to teams that he thought he could help. So
and he showed up when he got there
here,
too.
Before people put in the chat, well, you're not talking about Robert Horry. Robert Horry was no, he was not a mercenary.
Right. No.
Robert Horry just happened to win 5 rings, just being at the right place at the right time. Same thing with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr wasn't a mercenary.
Right.
So you gotta,
Yeah. Yeah.
now I can say Allen Iverson was a mercenary toward the end of his career, but
Yep.
Robert Horry doesn't fit in that. So I
Right.
just wanted to clear that up.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to start Shaquille O'Neal.
Woo!
Shaq. I'm going to start Shaq. I'm going to bench LeBron. I'm going to cut Kevin Durant, and I'm going to erase, Matt Scherzer. I'm going to erase him. But they're all four. Rob Parker often jokes, says LeBron is going to have a statue, a basketball in one hand and a suitcase in the other hand in front of Cleveland Stadium. Yep. But so Shaq, LeBron, Durant, and Max Scherzer. That was a good one. That was a good one.
So I'm gonna go. Of course, I got Shaq at the top too. I mean, Shaq even admitted he was a mercenary toward the end of his career. Then I'm going to bench KD.
KD.
I'm going to erase LBJ. And I mean, so I'm gonna start Shaq. I'm gonna bench KD. I'm gonna cut LBJ and I'm gonna erase Max Scherzer. And the reason I have KD before LeBron is because KD left right after winning a championship in Golden State. He bailed out. Yep. So to me, that puts him above LeBron because LeBron didn't win a championship in LA this last year. But you win a championship and then you bail. And KD goes above LBJ.
Okay.
I am in lockstep with Hot Rod.
With Hot Rod. Y'all always in lockstep.
Man,
y'all two always in lockstep.
I am going to start Shaq. I am going to bench Kevin Durant. And what Stephen A. Smith called his move to Golden State, the weakest move by a superstar that he has ever seen, which I agree with. LeBron.
I agree.
Yep. I am going to cut LeBron James, and I am going to erase Max Scherzer.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yep. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one.
Maybe I'm just picking on LeBron because he's the latest to do it,
Well, that's another reason why I didn't go that way, because I was like, well, wait a minute, LeBron. Now, if LeBron would have won a championship in LA and then decided to go to Philadelphia, then I'd have had to think of another criteria. But KD bailed out after winning a championship. To me, that made no sense because he got butt tickled because of what Draymond said to him. I'm like, because let's think about it, guys. Imagine if Kevin Durant would have stayed in Golden State, how many championships they would have had after winning the first couple. So
I would say probably at least 4, Hot Rod. At least 4.
So, but we also know that Kevin Durant is the most sensitive superstar in sports history. He's sensitive, with his burner accounts and stuff like that. But I still would try to trade for him and bring him to Cleveland.
I sure would too. Sure would too.
Yep, for sure. Good one, fellas. So let's move to our parting shots.
All right, I'll go first. I am falling in love with the WNBA, y'all, okay? Now, y'all know baseball is my favorite, and baseball is on every night. But you know what? I search for a WNBA game before I do baseball. I just like seeing those girls go at it. Now, it took a little bit of a black eye about a week ago when the coach for Toronto said those disparaging words, toward Angel Reese, okay? There's no room for that. But I'm glad, the WNBA took a stance and, sat her out for one game. Angel Reese accepted her apology, and let's move on. And my thing is, let's talk more about the basketball side of it, okay?
Yep.
With what these girls are doing. Just like last night, I watched the skills competition and the 3-point, those girls shoot, man. I really, really dig them. I love them. I love what the league is coming to. Prior to that, I was always a fan of women's college basketball, not so much the WNBA, but the WNBA is, catching up. Last week, I saw Jordan Canada hit the game-winning shot, for the Dream against Chicago. And this girl that plays right up the road here in Washington, who I get to see every night, Shakira Austin, she's a baller. She's a baller. The girl with all the red hair. I love how she plays the game. So hats off to the WNBA. You know, this year they got their money, you know, thanks to, you know, Caitlin Clark and the attention that she brings. And I'd like to see more of her, you know, less of all of the turbulence that's going on between them, but what these ladies do on the floor. And I'm sure you're appreciative of that, L Train.
Oh, absolutely.
Being that you coach the women's game. But I love the women's game. I do, man. So shout out to the WNBA. I love the direction that they're moving in. And like I say, I find myself looking for a game every night, man. Even on top of baseball, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Great one. Great parting shot. I love it.
So my parting shot is to ESPN and the way that they did Ryan Clark.
Oh, nasty work, man. Nasty work.
Now, to me, it was disrespectful. It was crass. It was rude. The way that they terminated Ryan Clark in the middle of a broadcast. And you can go to the pivot. I love the pivot that him and Channing Crowder, they're on. And he'll give you the full details on what happened. But they've made some other layoffs, of course. Cam Newton, they let go. They've let a couple people go. But Ryan Clark for me being a Cleveland guy, put past the fact that he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. Ryan Clark is so sensitive to the plight of people. And he speaks his mind, and he does it with an intelligence that I think threw ESPN off, and an unapologetic spirit that Ryan Clark has. And I am disgusted with what ESPN has done. I also throw Stephen A. Smith in there as well, is because you the dog at the top of the mountain, but you allowed them to do this. Okay, maybe he didn't have a whole lot of control, but Stephen A's got a little bit of push. And so the way that Ryan Clark's going to survive. I think by them letting Ryan Clark go, you've just opened up his platform to even be bigger and better. And also, I know we're not a political show, but I think the thing that killed Ryan Clark is because he talked about political things that took place within the African American community. And ESPN did not like that. They just they wanted him to shut up and talk football.
That's right. That's Disney.
Okay.
Disney for you.
And Ryan Clark was bigger than that. So my shout out is to Ryan Clark for even departing ESPN with class, continuing his platform, but to ESPN, shame on you, because you believe because you're a monopoly that you can do what you're doing because the other sports networks haven't come up. Listen, every dog has his day, and the chickens will come back to roost. And so that's my parting shot.
Great parting shot. That was nasty work. That was nasty work, man.
It was.
The way they did Ryan Clark. My parting shot is to piggyback off of Cap is about the WNBA, more specifically, the most successful team up here in the Minnesota area, the Minnesota Lynx. This is a Vikings town. This is a Twins town. It's become over the last 3 years a Minnesota Timberwolves town, and sort of being lost in the shuffle is the Minnesota Lynx, who have won multiple championships under Cheryl Reeves up here, who has done a fantastic job. They have a generational player up here in Olivia Miles. I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to check out Olivia Miles, but she is going to be in the MVP conversation this year as a rookie, taking the league by storm. But my parting shot is more to focus on our best player, a top 5 player in the WNBA that has not played all year long, in Napheesa Collier. Napheesa Collier got hurt in the playoffs last year. She tore 3 ligaments in her foot. She went down. She has not played a game for the Lynx all year. People keep forgetting about that because the Lynx, again, are the best team in the WNBA without our best player playing. She returned on Wednesday night, Napheesa Collier, with really her base being compromised in terms of her ankles and her feet. People that have been involved with sports know what mental gymnastics comes with that. playing at a high level, returning off an injury, that's significant? Well, Nafisa Collier came out and dropped 24 and 10 in her return game. And I just have respect on how hard that is to do, knocking off the rust and being able to go out there again and to compete at a high level. So my parting shot is to Nafisa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx for doing a great job in terms of building his team, giving Nafisa Collier the time to come back and be successful. And I think this team is going to make a run down the stretch. They're already the number one WNBA team in the league right now. So hats off to the Lynx. That's my parting shot.
There you go.
Well,
Good
fellas,
one. Great one.
Another great show. This is 3 the Hard Way. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like and subscribe button. Tell a friend about us. When you tune in, share the link, share the broadcast. Man, we're just going to continue to grow this thing. Anything you guys want to say out there to 3 the Hard Way Nation, fellas?
Hey, I'll be in the 216 all next week, and everyone I run into, I'm going to tell them about the show, so I'm going to get us some more subscribers. I'm going to get us some more. That's right.
That's right. We are going to keep an eye on where Cap is in the 216, just like we did Hot Rod.
That's right.
We are going to keep an eye on where he is and what he's doing.
Hey, make sure you be careful with your report, because I'm a federal worker now. I'm retired Navy and a federal worker, so I got a standard to uphold. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Do not approach. He's dangerous.
That's right. That's right. Go the other direction. That's right. That's right. Especially if he got a brown bag in his hand.
That's right. We can't wait to hear your report from home, T. So have a good time, man.
I sure will. Sure will. And I can't wait to watch y'all next week, too. Can't wait to watch y'all.
From 3 the Hard Way Nation out there, we bid you guys farewell. And as always, we'll see you when we see you. Great job, fellas.
All right.